Hello and welcome back to The Long Drive. And after the success of the first video, it would be silly of me not to make a follow-up, a new save, with a new car, and this one has a rotary engine. I've gone and given myself a bit more fuel so that I can actually make it anywhere, although it looks like I don't have to make it very far because there's actually a building right there. So this thing is rotary powered. It's also automatic, and that means I can't use the pedal shift with my wheel. I have to reach down and manually move this thing, which is pretty funny but also pretty terrible. See, I was going to go visit this bus station, well, bus depot I guess, and hope that there's something here other than just buses. Also, the rotary makes the funniest sound when it turns off. So, there's definitely something other than buses. There's evil zombies want to kill me. Well, the question is, do the actual buses themselves have anything? You have a terrible fuel tank that's empty, some oil in there, and some fuel in the fuel tank. Well, I can't exactly take the fuel out of the fuel tank. This one has nothing. And hello. That actually made me jump. There's two of them. Okay, that's a bit of a problem. Yes, I'm going to need a weapon, and fast, so please can one of these actually contain a weapon? I mean, these are the right headlights for the vehicle, but I can't use them to defeat zombies with. I'm going to bonk them with a chair.
I'm just trying to rip off your face and use it as my own.
They have the funniest voice lines while also being rather creepy. So let's... I just bash you with a chair. That does actually work. I'm somewhat surprised at that. Oh, and of course, the one barrel I didn't check has a gun in it. Oh no, there's 10.5 out of 5 litres of fuel in this, and this is a tiny little jerry can thing, and the random amount of fuel doesn't check whether it can fit, so it says it's 10.5, but I open this, and as soon as I pour it in here, it now goes, oh wait a minute, that was actually only 5 litres. Haha, got you. I was going to bring the car into the building. That's probably easier. See, I want to nick these lights and put them on the car, but this car only takes square light, so they don't work. I can't use them. Obviously we're going to fill this up with oil, and I might as well take the rest of it with me. It's also turning into night, which is rather inconvenient, because I can't really see much in this building anyway, and with no lights, it is impossible to see anything at night. So, let's just put this stuff in the car. And I don't have any food. However, with no headlights, it's impossible to play at night. And there was a couple of headlights over here. Both the... What are they? Are they left or right headlights? I think they're this side, yeah. They're both right headlights, because obviously they're the same in the same box, because why would you want one of each? It's not like the car has a left and a right side at all, so this looks a bit silly. Although actually, they do look like my channel logo. That's pretty funny. They're literally looking one way. They're just doing the impression of my channel logo. I mean, I have a little light I can turn on in here, which doesn't really illuminate anything else. I guess I can just see if I can shove random body panels on the car. So this is not the right one, but it sort of works. It's not quite the right door. There is a slight gap here. But it's better than no door. I have this menu full of like cheaty things that you can spawn and edit and mess around with, and I don't like to use most of them because it feels a bit cheaty, but one thing I do like to do is mess with the gears, and the first thing I'm going to do is set free run to be yes, because otherwise it like automatically brakes in whatever gear you're in. It like slows the car down, and I don't want to do that. But the problem is that the gears in the car don't work very well for the rotary engine, so what I am going to do is slightly tweak them a bit, because it revs quite high and doesn't do much until it's got a lot of revs. So I'm going to increase the first gear a bit and decrease the third gear. Wow, we only have 3 gears. Yeah, so by doing this, it just means that this thing will be a little more suited to the rotary engine. I think I may have made the first a little bit too long. The game doesn't seem to be particularly happy with it. So let's drop it like 4.12 or something. I'm just picking numbers and hoping they work adequately. Often you find that the vehicles, particularly with more powerful engines, end up being rather gear limited, and that's just annoying. 0.6 may have been a bit too low. So let's go with 0.8. But you just end up being gearing limited because the transmission doesn't change when you change the engine. The transmission is fixed for the vehicle, meaning that certain vehicles are simply faster than others, and that's sad because it means that my favourite vehicles aren't very good, like the van. But yes, as you can see, we are going 240 kilometers an hour, and we still have space in the revs to go faster, although I'm not sure we can actually maintain the speed on flat ground. And I slightly clipped lamppost and crashed into another one. Wow, that is a horrific accident. I have one wheel. Yeah, that is the downside of going so quickly. So I hit this one, which means it's nice and easy for me to go and just grab the stuff from it. And hitting the lamppost square on is one of the better outcomes, because all the stuff just sits in a pile. If you clip things and bounce off and go flying through the air, you can end up losing different bits of your car in different places and then you'll never find them. So I put the bits of the car that fell off back on, and now I have to find the gear stick, which is surprisingly difficult. It doesn't help that my leg covers up the indicator, so I can't actually see what gear I'm putting it in. I should probably clear the blood off the dashboard, but it's fine. Oh, and also the radiator cannot really cope with the rotary engine. It generates quite a bit of heat, and even a pristine radiator that comes default with this vehicle full of water is not actually quite enough. So we are going to need to absolutely get more water for it just so it can last a bit longer, but ideally we need a whole new radiator. It's better than the one already in here. And there's a building here, there's a satellite dish over there, but those are useless. Something much more useful here, which is the original diner, and I don't have the brain. The game does autosave, so I can just load back in, and I just have to put all the stuff back on my vehicle again. Now it is still dark. This is a problem. I don't have a light. All I have is a gun. That's it. I just have a gun. There's a nice van here. Have we actually got 3 intact vehicles? This is insane. Hardcore mod means it's far less likely for vehicles, particularly intact ones, to spawn. But we've got fully intact Barcus, a fully intact Dacia, I think it is, in there, and there's a Fury sitting on the roof. It has a decent radiator, but it is empty. The oil tank's empty. Let's just deal with that. There's lots of parts and things. This is actually a great building to get. As much as I love this car, there is an intact Fury up there, and those are really rare. So I may have to sift through the stuff and take the Fury off the roof. What have we got in here? Everything is pretty much empty. But there are also lots of tanks around, which are apparently also empty. Oh, food. I'll just eat that. And, window cleaner. I'll just eat that. It is an automatic. And this... Okay, this is cool. See, it's an automatic, but, it's a column shifter. And I've got it stuck. Just get off the roof. Just gonna push it. And there we go. Let's just put it back in park before it rolls away. Now also, it's not going anywhere. It's got no oil in the oil tank and no coolant in the coolant tank. And I didn't check the fuel tank. It's full of 25 litres of water. Well, yeah, now I'm going to have to find a way to get that out. And the best way is probably just going to be to make sure this is open and just flip it on its side and hope it all pours out. If I just push it and hold it at the right angle. There we go, it's now empty. I will have to do something about the engine though. Hopefully there is actually, you know, the useful things around here, because a lot of this is empty. So that's a wheel, it's a good wheel, we'll take that. There's some cleaning supplies. I'll probably get it cleaned up with the clean supplies around before I leave, but a lot of these things are annoyingly empty, and that means I do not have enough fuel to actually run the V8, because the V8 takes a lot of fuel. Oh, there is a nice scrubbing brush though, so that's useful. I may actually take the rotary engine and put that in the Fury, which is probably cursed. Putting a rotary engine in a what is like a 60s or 70s American muscle car. The only fuel I can find is this one jerry can here full of 2 litres of fuel. So I guess we're running the Fury off this then. Maybe I shouldn't have put all of the fuel I had into there. I should have kept some just like loose. Oh, does the Barkers have any? No, it's empty. Yeah, I'm gonna have a look around and see what else we've got. One thing we do have is a cat. If I click, the cat makes cat noises, and if it hits things, it makes cat noises. You're going to go on the seat next to me. That way you can just be the co-pilot. I'm trying to load my car, and this bus has decided to drive into it. Yeah, you can beep your horn at me all you like. You're the one that's not on the road. Well, neither am I, but I'm not trying to drive on the road. There is actually a solution to this. There you go. Now I don't have to worry about them moving anymore. So I put everything that I want to keep in the car, and I remember there is a tap inside full of water, so I've just put some water from that into this can here, which I'm then pouring into the radiator, and there is some more in there which I'll take with me so that I can drink it and refill the radiator when it leaks. As you can see, I've also cleaned up the car, and it turns out it's a nice pink colour, so I'm going to keep that. And in the back here we have the barrel of oil, which I actually need to use because I did forget to top off the oil. It's only lost a little bit, but I might as well fill that up while I'm here. How much do we actually have? Oh, we've got 13 litres of oil. It's not a very full barrel, and I could just transfer it to one of these jerry cans. Well, the empty one. Because the barrel doesn't actually want to fit in here. Yeah, I might as well just put this in a smaller container. Then I can lie the engine down, and it fits much better. And I have a gun there, and a ridiculous amount of ammo for it. A couple of spare wheels in the back. Put the best 4 wheels on the car. I could clean them with the spray, but I didn't feel like it, so I didn't. And then, of course, we have the cat. As now I have a nice rotary-powered Plymouth Fury with very little fuel. And it's not very fast, because the gearing in this thing is not designed for this engine. It's also a bit laggy. I don't know why. It's probably just because some AI traffic vehicle drove into a tree nearby and was slightly glitching out, which means it should hopefully recover. If it doesn't, that'll be unfortunate. But yeah, it's only using second so far. I mean, it is quite heavy, so it'll take it a while to reach speed, but I would hope it would, you know, get to third at some point, but I'm not sure it will. I'm also hoping we're going to have enough fuel to actually get anywhere. I think I might have to drive a little more conservatively with the fuel. Having just looked at the gear menu thing, I can see that there are in fact only 2 gears. There's reverse, neutral, 1 and 2, and that's it. So it won't take third gear because there is no third gear. I guess the auto from the mod is a 2-speed auto rather than the 3 or 4-speed manual that the car normally has. And we're currently being run off the road by a taxi. I mean, it's sort of pink, it's also sort of brown. I don't really know, it looked really brown in the dark of the night when I was cleaning it, but then when the sun came up, it was a fairly nice pink colour. I would prefer it if it was a little more pink. And there was paint back there, but I didn't want to repaint it straight away. I wanted to actually see what it looked like first. And the answer is, it's sort of pink and also sort of brown. So I just stopped off at the watchtower in case there was any fuel. There isn't, however, there is a slightly shinier gun than the one I've got, and there is a better light. So we can ditch that terrible thing and take this instead. But there's just some oil. I don't need oil. I'm going to ditch this rusty one in exchange for this nice shiny one. Can I reload from it? Yes, I can just take the bullets out of that gun and put them in this one. Oh, bad things have occurred. Have I got all the parts of my car? That's the important question. I slightly clipped that van trying to avoid it because it just stopped in the middle of the road. But it looks like everything is still intact, so we can just drive on. So here we have one of my least favourite buildings. Wow, the automatic transmission did not like that. So these normally have very little in them. It does have a zombie though. 40 litres of oil? I probably don't need that much. However, they do have a bit of fuel, so that's useful. Yeah, nothing of much use, really. However, I need any fuel I can get. So I've taken some of the oil out of this and put it in the tank of the engine and filled up my oil jerry can. And now I just get back in and keep driving. This thing is really bad at launching, and the acceleration is terrible. Probably because it's designed for an engine with lots of low RPM power, and it's got an engine with very little low RPM power. The rotary engine has very little until like 6,000 RPM, whereas the big V8 has nothing at 6,000 RPM. It's gone by that point. It has all of its power so much earlier than the rotary engine that it just doesn't work properly with the rotary. Like, the 2 gears doesn't help as well. What? Huh? Why? Why has the game decided that I must fly? And why can't I grab the thing? Trying to interact with it, it's not letting me interact with the gear changing thing. So I can't actually take it out of gear. And now apparently I'm in the car. What? I'm so confused. Yeah, the game is just like that sometimes. So I can load back. It's so annoying that it just randomly kills you sometimes. I mean, I was driving along, I have to look at the footage and play it back in extra slow motion to see if I even hit anything. But that wasn't even what killed me. It was getting out of the car. I don't know what happened. Something must have glitched when I landed on the ground, because I wasn't allowed to interact with the gear shifter. Normally if I'm sitting here I can just pull the thing up and down, but it wasn't letting me do that. So something was already glitched when I landed, and trying to get out clipped me into the roof, and the game was not happy with the fact that I was clipped into the roof and killed me. So I might continue this in a future episode if people want to see that, but this is going to be it for this video, so thank you for watching, don't get distracted, go subscribe now, and until next time, goodbye.